everyone, I hope pretty much actually you happened to enjoy my last Steam Chronicles video about the Beetletroppers. I'll be utilizing them again a little bit more because the other structure decks and I don't have time to actually go overhaul them or combo off, I feel like, on stream. Since I'm just not feeling well this whole year, as I explained in my previous vid. The one before this one. I am just sad I don't have time enough to stream it all anymore somehow, especially with the whole moving happening. Just those ridiculous names sit straight in decks. Straight into decks, but first off, I have a total of 5 matches today. Half my replays were from Steam Chronicles, thankfully, and I have more to go off for the whole event of what Beetropper mostly do for the most part for this whole loner deck than I did before. So at least I have at least more details of what you can possibly do with them. And again, certain scenarios. Overall, I already explained enough details of what you can possibly do with the Beetropper deck in the first place in my last time. So I don't feel like going over it twice, though, especially in my blue eyes. Overall, pretty much, there hasn't much changes. I don't remember what I entirely have without looking up. Like, I have Keyword Dragon Mage mostly have Super Poly in my hand, so I can actually go to my fusions a little bit faster, as well as going to the Guardian Chimera, my 1-up with this card. So at least I have some awesome stuff, which should be nice. Overall, there's not much changes in total with the Devil deck. I just hack out some stuff. Nothing much new whatsoever. Now let's get straight into matches. First off, I get Q. The one thing about Q, the first thing about Q is that they're able to special summon, they bound to a normal summon themselves out, but without tributing, but the levels will be reduced, and their whole pendulums is that they can't be special summon monsters except Qs, and their effects this can be negated, and all killing monsters you control gain 300 most of the most part. But the most of them always have you can't special summon monsters except Qs. That part is always getting stuff, while one of them adds his cards to hand, add 1 Q deck to hand. And Ash Frontliner Reserve, so they can actually add 1 Art Pendulums, which are all the Q cards in the first place. Qs evolve 3 tribute, most of the deck does evolve regular tributing, but mostly you want to go into your regular Qs with them. So you don't want to run a whole bunch of non-Q cards in the first place. Some resorts so they can actually have more pendulum than normal monsters, which are a total of 5, but personally should only run 2. Polished Diamonds, Sexless, Forbidden Chalice, Q's Monster card, this is mostly just a trap monster for Q's so they gain special summon attributed out for the main monsters. Loose Fortune is probably the most annoying. Activating able to control no special summon monsters while monster face up on the field. Negate its effect during the turn that the monster was special summoned. If a monster is special summoned in attack position, change it to defense mode. Overall, there isn't much else they mostly do that they can't go into. Except for, like, I really don't see most of the stuff. Since they don't have cards that allow them to send to the grave at all, it's just probably bait to make them think they're going to do something. Besides Utopia, there isn't really much you can do. Now let's get straight into match. First off, my hand I was like, oh my god, I can stop Ash entirely, which is frog. Like I was saying, I can prevent Ash. Those stuff I got worried about is Imperm. So I know I'm a Beetropper here. Push on Resonance. Get that. Resonance. Add. Activate skill. I was also like I only procced this thing maybe one time this whole match. So then one time this whole day that I was playing this deck. Go into normal here. Side to side Beetropper. Add Beetropper assault rifle to hand. Dash respond it. Guess what? I'm gonna keep Beetle's thing again. Set the trap. I could have activated this spell, but I figured I don't have anything else to go off of, so I decided to set it. And I was like, Q happened. No monster's gonna destroy them. Interesting. I was trying to set some stuff. It discards normal summon, I get to set, but I forgot about tributing, otherwise I would have done something else different. So I did a token. Decide to destroy that. So I go link here into link 2, into link 3. Opponent realized that what I was about to do was set up another link 3 of it entirely. So you guys go on the next one. Next up, next match against Suship, aka Sushi. There's nothing much difference about it compared to other decks, besides mostly running a lot more monsters. And outside not a lot of removal, it's more of a budget friendly one I feel like. Besides Lightning Storm, there isn't much other stuff that is generic, I feel like. Outside the imperms, crossouts, painful choice since you mostly have at least one normal one. Outside that, they have 3 ashes, 2 maxi. There's a much difference, but they need a more removal personally. Outside the links, outside the Xyz, I mean. And the Zeus. Man, how many says I actually remember the bad part? For my, to fix my chair. To bend it back, please. Starts off at 8 vocal. Side job ballpark. Opponent mostly was gonna bait me in it. Side Heartbeat Spellduster. Set real estate. Opponent adds 1 hand. They're most the same one, so it didn't matter what I choose there. Fall by the Grave was alright, since I knew the house they had bait. I had Resident Stand, Normal Sun Resonance. I decided to negate 1 just to go into 1 more of that. 1000. And now pretty much actually the last leg. Go into link 4. Presence. Add 1 to hand. Tier 1. Special summon out 1. Activate Q. Special summon out. Add what I was going to add either way. I was going to go into link 3. But it's also a bait in the sense that I could have gone to link 4 if I feel like, but in that one, but it wouldn't have mattered. Activate though. Make the normal sum out. Next up. So basically they have multiple links to go off of. The one thing to realize is that I baited them out with this monster. What's called Points Monster. Point cannot target this card for attacks. For what it does, it's one of the more narrow-minded cards though, but they're also an easy way to bait a point for attack. If a monster discard points to destroy a battle card effect, you can special 1 level 4 lower inside monster with your hand or grave, but banish them and leaves. Opponent could have just attacked it since they already declare attack thinking it, but they could at least got some of their event points done with personally. Let's get straight into the other match. Match is against Crusadia. Monsters that special summoned out to another links as well, and they can mostly gain their attack points pointing to whatever arrows they point to most of the time, with some negates in mind with their link 4 entirely. There isn't much to go off of. Most of the monsters, especially to the zone the monster points to. Basically, it also helps easily for Maxi's challenge to happen. They don't have to Astral Call by the Grave in a this deck. Personally, I feel like you should just up the limit at least by 1 or 2. Besides that, they're running some Kaijus and some mech. And also running some Kaijus, like a decent amount of them with 8 static with Nibiru and a parallel exceed. But personally, you should run 3 parallels if you actually manage to brick entirely. Besides that, most of the monsters that get bonuses like add traps, add a monster card, special summon 1 target 1 Crusadia monster controls, attacks a defense specialist monster. It gains piercing, stuff like that. There isn't much to go off of. Pretty much most of the deck mostly revolves around cycling a lot. And I just realized I got positive. Wow. That's first. Haven't done that in a long while. Overall, my first hand, I was like, oh yeah, I can work with this hand. So she's on Beetropper. They had Ash called by the grave. Come on, I was like, come on, do you have MXC as well? First landing. Got Resonance. Going to Seraphone. Resonance skill. Add a heavy Male Trooper. I was going to do it just to bash. Plus I'm at my level 4, send Gopal. Add Gopal, add Resonance back to hand. So I can pop off for next turn. Also, my first shot would have been to Beetropper here. I said do that. Next time they want to give up since they had no outs to recombo instantly against Crusadia with Beetropper. As you can tell, it's actually Pyramid. You actually had the trap card in hand, so when they pop off for this whole event, it's just best to have that trap card in your hand. Don't call by the grave or something. If you can merely combo off it either way, still with the Q, you can still do that with the opening hand I had. If, for example, I had called by the grave, it would just been max seed, I feel like. That's whatever. Let's get straight into the next match. Okay, mostly people in gold are mostly hat face. Cubic Mass is always a max deck with no hand trips essentially. Outside that, the mostly targets most of all around utilizing their own cards actually sent to the grave so they can bypass and burn you out personally every single turn to hopefully win the game. Aside that, this match was funny enough to me. I was almost laughing. If my mic can pick up at it. If it could pick up Discord, I'd be laughing more. This was probably my favorite match so far. Just because how hysterical it was to me. Open up with the meta to the bug. And this is why, returning see. As you know, raising sends cards to the grave. If you can also send the rest in the grave, now monsters in the level card per point. Send all extra cards to the grave. If not, special on the expanded monster also, which will take forever and mostly make it so they'll decking possibility cards, but they can't utilize them. Mind you, the deck with at least decent amount of space. I said I choose level 4s since I know most of them at this point. They also realized that they couldn't actually add cubic cards to their hand because of it. Then I was like, my turn. I have a link 3 already in hand, essentially with this. Guaranteed 4. I was like, yeah, I don't have the time to deal with this since I knew I was going for Link instantly for Link 4 off the bat. Still, man, this is my most funniest match probably throughout the sorry Peaches, but it was worthwhile to me. Next match essentially is God cards combined with the Knights. I do not remember what most people call this. I'll probably look it up for this vid, probably. Jokers. Mostly everyone knows what Jokers. They pretty much allow them to summon out by king games with some cards like Joker Straight to mostly get more consistent, but utilizing too much God cards, I feel like. They probably should cut off Sniper by 1 or 2. Cut down the Spear mode, I feel like, by 1 more at least. Because it can they can add the regular cards, the main monster that allows them to special summon out and add more monsters. Aside that, they got double nothing to go to Link if they sees. I mean, if to actually pop off with it, there's not much to monster utilize. And this at time of recording, Utopia Ray wasn't banned yet, but almost as it was afterwards. So things will be kind of different for this matchup, as you probably noticed, especially since I was using Blue Eyes. I gotta be honest, my favorite deck right now is probably Beetropper since it makes normal summon daily so much faster than the other things. Overall, my first time I played nothing else, really. Wow, I'm surprised. I decided to do Lord, get Lord D. I decided to actually get called by the grave at this point. Didn't happen, so I was like, might as well. Special summon out 1 Blue Eyes. Then special summon my Jet out. Go into, I think, 4. What I should have done at this point was go into regular monster mostly, but I don't want to deal with cards that are being targeted me at this point, as to negate it, essentially, in theory. Since I did not, I knew how to add god cards, but not much. My opponent runs to realize that and probably could actually work with this next turn. As you can tell, overall not much matches I feel like to go off of, but this is probably the best I can make do in the meantime. I hope everyone else subscribe, like, review,